the Let's Talk Sports fans. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening, fight fans. Welcome to another great episode of Headkicks and Hamakers. I'm your boy, Bodkins, and of course, with me, coming from the lounge, baby, the lounge of my guy, Wit. Wit, what is up, my brother? Oh, man, Saturday was a magnificent night of fights. UFC 291 delivered top to bottom. This whole week of fights. We'll get to the Francis stuff. We got the Tyson and Paul stuff.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I don't know where to start, where to end, but we're gonna start. We labeled the show UFC 299 post show, so let's start UFC 299. We both called it. We said, and still UFC bantamweight champion of the world, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Thoughts on the main event, Wit?
Well, first of all, let me tell everybody, in conjunction with UFC 299 and the Sugar Sean O'Malley hair color coordination, I got the lights in the background, as you can see. And they're just, this is going to fluctuate from time to time. So if you're known to have seizures, please cut the show off now. But anyway, in terms of 299 and the Sugar Show, bro, like we called it, but to see it in live action,
I don't think we called it that way. Like,
we didn't. I don't think we called it good enough. But
yeah,
this is the beginning of what is to be maybe 3 pay-per-views straight of some.
The second, this is the second one. 298 was great, 299, and then we got 300. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, this is the second of 3, which we think are some can't miss pay-per-views.
Yeah. And I think 198. So 298 was like the appetizer. This, I don't know if this was like, you can call it the main course meal, and then 300 is the best dessert you could ever have.
Right? Yeah, definitely. When you think about 300 is coming up, 10 ex-champions. It's almost like saying, like, what is, you ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse and they just bring you like 9 different steaks and you just keep getting slices and you pay $50. If you're going to pay $69, $50 for it, you might as well sit there and eat a bunch of steak and go in on it. So that's exactly what 300 is. So but I feel you, man. This was one for the ages. I mean, we saw it, but we didn't see it happening like the way it happened.
Sugar Sean in that main event put on an absolute masterclass against Cheeto. It was a masterclass, and kudos to Cheeto, because that knee to the face, it sounded like a crack of the bat. I've heard bats, people hit sound like that off a bat, and the ball's going 400, yards into the stands. And Cheeto didn't even go down. I mean, he ate that thing for breakfast and kept going. Joe Rogan kept saying, he's covering up. He's covering it, keeps covering up. I'd cover up too if my face looked like Cheetos at the end of the day, because, I mean, it was just took it to him.
Yeah, man. Well, if you saw the post-fight conversation with Joe in the ring, he said he thought he popped something in his face. And I wouldn't be, as kids, you do dumb stuff. Like, I'm from the country. So like when watermelons go bad, you go in the field, you go hit them with a bat or something like that. That's the sound I heard. And I was like, yeah, that's his nose, his orbital bone or something.
Oh, broke. Yeah. He had to broke his orbital bone, his cheekbones.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. I wouldn't be surprised. But I mean, kudos to Cheeto for going out there and like literally taking every good shot that Sean O'Malley had on the chin. And I went back to look at it, bro. You did some real good predicting, bro. You said about 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's probably when Cheeto's gonna wake up and try to, take over. And you were exactly right. Maybe right at 4. And then that wild flurry he had at 5 were the times in which you said, okay, he's awake. He's just going for the gusto now. But by that time, man, points-wise, it was Sean had already got him.
I mean, it didn't even matter. I mean, like, he didn't even win those rounds still. Sugar beat his ass from bell to bell for, 25 minutes. There was never a time where you thought Cheeto was, Sean was ever in danger. And kudos to Sean too, his corner. I love I love Timbo, not Eric Nixick. He's Francis's guy, but I love Timbo in the corner. Hey man, you don't have to go out here. Don't got to finish him. Just stick and move, stay out of trouble. And I love Sean just saying, you know what? Like I had him hurt. Like I want to go for the finish. Like that's what people are going to remember. Me finishing guys. Like I'm trying to be this, this light. Like everybody says, I'm gonna this superstar. Well, I'm gonna show him the superstar. And, well, I couldn't put out Cheeto. I mean, he damn near might as well. I mean, like I said, 9 out of 10 guys take a knee to the face like that. They down for the count.
Right. It's a advocation to who Cheeto Vera is in spirit, the type of fighter he is. I mean, of course, they showed it in the pre-fight, like how the first fight ended. Sean said he hit a nerve in his foot. He couldn't stand on it. It was nothing he could do about it. He was going to lose anyway, so he took the L. But this one right here, this one was definitively Sean O'Malley. When they were calling out the fights in the beginning, Sean was like, "This is 0."
Yeah,
because he didn't lose. And then let's put it this way: there's no question about it now. Let's lay it to bed. There's no reason to necessarily even have a trilogy or make this a trilogy.
No.
How that just ended, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And so after the fight, Sean kind of calls out Ilya Tapora, but then he kind of was like, if y'all want me to fight Merab, I'll fight Merab. And I think that's who should be next. I think it should be Merab versus Sean O'Malley.
The funny thing, bro, and I think I sent it to you, Sean's back, going back, walking to the dressing room, and who's right there, Merab Dimitrishvili, and to be honest with you, because he's so nicely dressed, I didn't know it was him for a second, and then he shook his hand and yes, man, I am next. He's like, what? That's Merab. You just said his name.
He said, "Why did you say my name?" He said, "Why did you say my?" He's like, "Oh, he's like, nice fight." He's like, "Oh, thanks." And then he said, "Why didn't you say my name?" He's like, "Oh shit, I didn't even realize who you are." Now he did come out and say on an interview, he was on the MMA Hour. He said, "I did know that was Merab. I just thought the shit was funny to the kind of know."
Yeah, just to do it on camera. You know what I'm saying? Threw a little spike in there, but something else I saw that caught my eye just a little bit, and this is, of course, once again speculation because we don't know exactly what's going on. Corey Sandhagen somehow is getting thrown into the mix of somebody that could possibly be up there.
Yeah, he could be next. Corey's fought the who's who and beat everybody. I think it should be. I think it should be Merab, and then Corey. Let me look at the rankings here. Let me see. So Corey's number really. Corey will be number 2 once Aljo gets out of the bantamweight rankings. I would do maybe Corey and a guy that just won, Peter Yan. Now, they did fight once as a short notice fight. So Peter Yan won, or maybe you do, Cheeto. I think I wouldn't mind doing Cheeto versus Peter Yan. Cheeto's the problem with Cheeto is he's where'd he go? He's number 5. So you could do 4 or 5. And let Corey get Corey just has to, maybe he fights down one time. He's kind of called out Umar. They were scheduled once before. Umar pulled out. He got hurt. So I wouldn't mind if they rebook that. I mean, you really look at it. Corey's beaten fought everybody in the top 10 outside of Merab and Sean. He does have the loss to Peter Yan. Did beat Cheeto. I don't think Henry's coming off a loss. Maybe they book him and Henry. He already beat Song Yadong. Maybe you could do really what you could do. Depending on what Figueroa he's fighting next month, you could do maybe Figgy and Corey Sandhagen. So
it's kind of like a who's who at the top. And of course, we're going to talk more about what's going on. Hello from Holland.
What's up, man? Sam, what's up?
They got it's more of like a who's who at the top right now. Still, we did get a convincing win from Peter Yan. You know what I'm saying? Out there against Song Yadong on 299 as well. So that kind of moves Song probably a little down a little bit. But like you said, if we could do Corey maybe Peter or Marab somewhere, and somebody has to do a little title eliminator, because what's going to happen is, if Uncle Dana says this is okay, sure, let's get ready.
I think it's got to be Marab's next. I think it's Marab and Sean. It's got to be.
If they don't put him in for a title or for another title contention immediately, and he goes and tries to do Ilya possibly or something like that, then they got to figure out, okay, who's going to get taken out between Marab, between Peter, and between Corey Sandhagen. Somebody's got to go. They got to face, one of them got to face each other. You said Peter and Corey already did it one time already.
Yeah, they did. It was a short notice fight for the interim title. It was like he took it on like 2 weeks notice in Abu Dhabi. So I would like to see a full camp from Corey and Peter Yan kind of go at each other and see what happens there. If you want to do that, I would be okay with it. But let's get Marab and Sugar, and I get Sugar wanting to go against Ilya because it would be a fun fight, two stand-up dudes, and because him and Marab would be that's a tough matchup. Marab's a tough matchup for anybody and everybody. Just the pressure, and he's going to be a decision, but Sugar would have to catch him and put his lights out. And he's got the power. You know what I mean? We've seen him put dudes' lights out. And for all of Sugar's, like, one thing that people got to realize, for all his stardom, the guy is very humble. He has a regimen of what he does, and he puts on for his people. He's not out really in the clubs and partying. Like, he doesn't really live that like lavish lifestyle. He kind of portrays it like he does, but he really doesn't. If you listen to his interviews and things like that, he's all about business and handling business in the octagon and making money. So I'm all for Marab, and I think right now I would favor Marab over Sugar, even though Sugar, that might have been the best fight we've ever seen him fight against on Saturday night, this past Saturday against Cheeto.
I mean, definitely, dog. I'll tell you this, man. The preparation that was put into the fight, you can tell that they were kind of building from the ground up, because he was prepared just in case you wanted to wrestle, just in case you wanted to do some jiu-jitsu. Okay, I think we got a takedown or two in there. Everything was all the boxes were checked in this fight, in my opinion, for Sean O'Malley. But then, of course, you go if you put Marab in there, we're going to have to work on that wrestling, brother. We're going to have to get your sprawls. We're going to have to make sure that because it's not even just it's just the pressure that Marab puts on. Yeah, like, he's in your face. He is in your face. He's got a really, really tough pace that he puts on fighters. And this would be another adventure of, well, who's going to press who up against the cage, and who's going to, manage to get out of it. But once again, man, I'd love to see it. If they don't let him do Ilya, then I love to see it, September, August, towards the end of the year, and maybe we get.
Yeah, I think you could even do, June, July, somewhere right around there. I'm good with that too. Yeah, maybe International Fight Week, the Connor card, that kind of makes sense. Maybe they do something like that.
Right, the If Connor Fights tour. We've been
on that. Yeah. Speaking of Connor, the guy who let Connor last fought, Dustin Poirier, you called it, Whit. You gave me my props. I'm gonna give you props. You said he's still a dog. He's still gonna find his way. You picked DP, said he gets it done, and by God, DP got it done. Round and a half. The first round,
the guillotines.
Stop. When it's out, jump the gilly. Don't you know what I mean? Don't be silly, jump the gilly.
Right.
And put Benoit out. The first round, it did not look good for DP at all. And then the second round, he put him out. Thoughts on your guy? I mean, I love Dustin Poirier. I told you, hey, I'm picking BSD, but I would not be surprised if DP wins and DP handled the business.
Dog, let me tell you something, man. This was one of those where, like, of course, the whole card was almost one of those edge of my seat cards. But that fight in particular, I was like, oh, don't get caught. Ooh, don't get caught. Don't get caught. Don't get caught. And it kept getting closer and closer. When I looked at it again, Benoit Saint Denis hit him like with a left cross that you could tell. I've been punched in my life. You do one of those things where you start blinking to kind of catch up with the brightness of the lights around you. You could tell Dustin took a good shot or two from him. And I gotta admit that, somewhere in the ground technique of what was happening when the two guys were on the mat. And even though the guillotines might not have been, set in, I can only imagine how hard it is to have that man's long arm somewhat still around your neck. That's gonna put some gas, take some gas out of you. I think somewhere in there, Benoit Saint Denis was a little bit more tired than he usually is, and Dustin Poirier caught him at the right time, put him down, throw the mouthpiece across the ring. It was great. I was excited.
He told Dana, "You want me to fight these young guys, huh?"
Yeah,
that's what he told Dana. This is what happens when you want me to fight these young guys, huh?
This is and for me, that was an example of, hey, look, it's there are some fighters who, we can't tell if it's over. You know what I'm saying? We've seen some, like my guy El Kukui, hey, look, you got that head kick, you're never gonna be the same. But Dustin Poirier has a well-rounded fight technique that he uses, and this time we saw he was trying to jump the guillotine 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, but that shows you where his mind was at.
It was like, stop jumping the damn guillotine.
Right? Yeah, but that shows you where his mind was at. He was like, look, I'm going to get him one way. If I'm not going to get him standing up, his neck is out here, and I'm like, man, and the thing is, 2 more seconds. I think in the second round, that guillotine really might have had. But
in the second round is when he put Benoit out.
Yeah, no, it looked like there in the very beginning, early, he had him. But either way, once again, Dustin Poirier, I'm happy for him. You know what I'm saying? And
I don't think there's anybody that's upset that he won. He's kind of he's just a stand-up dude, one of the great guys in this sport for DP. And he was on the MMA Hour on Monday and really talked about some dark things, really thought about committing suicide.
Right. When you go 10, 7, 8 years of no losing, and then you lose to somebody you think you could beat, I'm sure.
And the way he lost.
Yeah, the way he lost. And bro, I was watching a video of his losses and his wins. I was like, damn, he's been around. He fought Cub Swanson. How long ago?
I think I sent it to you, actually. I think
I think you did. And I was like, dang, that's wild.
He's been around a long time. Yeah, DP been around a long time. He was at featherweight and then now at lightweight. Man, he's just it was just so for him to go through all the things, talk about all the things that he went through this after the fight, the dark places. He's like, I didn't talk to nobody. He's like, my wife kind of helped me out. He had to go see a therapist. And, he's like, I thought about quitting. I thought about killing myself, all types of things. So, for him to,
for some reason, Ariel Helwani just likes to get he's one of those, I love his interviews, but he's one of those guys that's like, I don't see you getting sad, so I'm just gonna press the button a little more. So you sure you really wanted to kill yourself? Is that what you're thinking about? Yes, damn it. I wanted it to be over.
So he really, so for him to come out of it and get the win like that, is incredible. Well, who do you think is next for Dustin Diamond? Is it a title shot against Islam? We know Gaethje's kind of tied up. We know Charles Oliveira's kind of tied up. They're both fighting next month. Mm-hmm. Is it Islam? Because it has to be. My biggest fear though, if he loses to Islam, I think that's it for him, because that's 3 cracks at the title, and you didn't get it done. 0-3. And you know what I mean? You already lost to, at that point in time, Gaethje and Charles, 2 of the top guys. I don't know what would be next for him. Mm-hmm. I think it's title shot, and that's what or maybe he gets the loser of Charles and Arman next month.
I was just about to say I think it would be a title eliminator more so than a title.
So you think he's got one more? I mean, Islam said great fighting. Then his manager said, "Hey, we want DP in June."
Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if something comes about where the issue starts getting pressed for him to have Makhachev at the top. But like you said, the round robin, which is that top 5, which is okay, let's throw Gamrot in there, Sarukian, Poirier's got this BMF belt coming. it's a somebody. The top 3 or 4. In order for me to just say, all right, man, go fight Makhachev, like there has it. Like you might as well. Gaethje got to lose. Sarukian's got to lose. You know, we
Charles. Well, Charles and Sarukian are fighting next month, and Gaethje's, he's fighting Holiday, and maybe Holiday wins, and who knows what happens after that.
Right, and that's the thing. If Max Holloway beats Gaethje, and that's just that takes him out of the contention. So
I
think we got to wait like two months to see it. But I, as a Dustin Poirier fan, would love to see him take on Islam Makhachev. So one time for the Diamond Man, you know what I'm saying? Real talk is.
I do think he's got maybe one last title run in him, and then after that, I don't know how much is left for him or what's left for him.
He could definitely ride off into the sunset. Yeah. He solidified himself in the sport. He's got a name. He's got. I'm assuming he's done the right thing with his money. I've seen some of that stuff he's done with his foundation, like out there in Louisiana, and he's got he's living the dream that he said many on the interview, like he loved to do this. It wasn't like his biggest thing to go be a champ, but don't get me wrong, he want to be a champion. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You want to go out on top.
Yeah. Amsterdam says Overeem's was his favorite. Hey, at one time, Overeem was the most, there might not have been more jacked fight than Overeem versus Brock Lesnar. Two dudes just absolutely roided out for the heavyweight title. And then Overeem quit because Francis Ngannou knocked his head off. So
yeah, Overeem was scarier in pride.
Yeah. Well, once he got on the sauce too, he was scary too.
Yeah, he was scary when he was on the sauce, boy. Oh
he was stuff.
He was knocking out two or three guys a night in a row. That was a scary Overeem.
Yeah. We also got on the then we had the JDM. The JDM Gilbert Burns fight. Right. In the middle of that fight, early on in that fight, JDM breaks his arm. So it's been reported. I saw the fractures are online. It's broken. He still finishes Gilbert Burns, gets the win, knocks out Gilbert Burns, and I called it. I told you it's going to be changing the guard, in some of these accounts. So I called that one. JDM now ranked number 5. He called out none other than my guy Shavkat Rakhmonov. Thoughts on the call out, or are you okay with that?
Don't say that man's name because when them eagles start coming over mountaintops, you start seeing them fox heads on people's heads, and they pull them out in that chair like Attila the Hun or something like that. I don't know if you want that. You know what I'm saying? And they show. I saw a tweet from Shavkat.
Yeah, he said
classic villain. Young Prince villain. Speech like,
hey, I respect your call out, but you'll fall just like all the
right. Like what type of Middle Eastern, you know what I'm saying? Like dark ages slander is that? Like how would you tell me I'm gonna fall like the rest of your opponents? But I love it though. Jack Delamalay, once again JDM, because I guess I can't never ever get it out right. Like I think that was one of those fights where though you had to pay attention to that. Gilbert Burns is no slouch, but Gilbert Burns is behind with that one for sure, and he is definitely on the rise. Now it's going to take him out a little while with that broken arm.
So I don't know how, and it seems like Shavkat. Well, he's kind of banged up too. So we'll get that. Maybe we'll get that fight, or maybe it's because it should be Bilal versus Leon next. I don't know who knows what Kamaru, who they got ranked number 1 still. So who knows what Kamaru's going to do, whether he's going to go 185 or
fight somebody. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 170. Yeah. So fight somebody, Gilbert. And then what do we do with Gilbert Burns? Has got the loss now. He's lost 2 in a row. He's really I think he's lost he's 3 out of his last 5.
3 out of 4, 3 out of 5, right?
Yeah. Right. So your thoughts on Gilbert Burns? I think somebody like a Sean Brady would be perfect for him.
Yeah, it's right there at the bottom. We got you got Wonder Boy down here. I got Jeff Neal, like Vincent Luque, really tough competitor. Somebody that's.
I think he beat Luque. They've already faced once before. I think.
I believe so. And then of course. everybody's favorite bad guy. When you want to see how good you are, you go see this guy. You go see Neil Magny. I don't. He's down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Neil Magny. I don't care who
Yeah.
you are. If you watched our show Headkicks and Hamakers for the last couple months, Neil Magny is a name you put in, and then somehow, some way, you find out that you're not the best fighter that you thought you were. So,
or maybe he fights the guy who won on this card, and that's Michael Venom Page. You know, Michael Venom, your guy. You called that one too. I love the walkout by MVP.
Oh, yeah.
The Undertaker stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's MVP. You know, and Gilbert Burns. I think him and Sean Brady, or even the MVP, makes sense to me. A lot of people think MVP versus Wonder Boy Thompson, but he kind of said he felt like they would just be like a 2-point matchers, right? Like that karate style, just point kick. And he's like, it probably wouldn't be as entertaining as people think. So he's like, you know, two positives and positive don't always make a positive is kind of what MVP was saying. And we'll go there. Thoughts on MVP's debut?
Bro, let me tell you something, man. First off, this is, you know, every once in a while you got to give a shout out to somebody who lost. I want to give a shout out to Kevin Holland, man, because I know he went in there and was fully prepared to knock MVP's block off, and he's probably been studying them. But as you can see, if you watched any of the post-fight stuff, MVP even said, man, when he got up close to me, he was like, man, you slippery as hell. He was like, yeah, it's that black people shea butter. And then at the same time, I was like, bro, like you faster than I thought. Like,
yeah. He even told his corner, they're like, hey, he's like, I can't. It's not there. It's not there. Like he's not there.
If you watch the fight, it's weird because, if you watch, this Sean Strickland does the Philly shell where all you do is pretty much have this side of your body available for striking. Yeah. MVP does the same thing, but with his hands down. Like, and to me, it's almost a taunt for you to fall into a trap. Like he's not even hands up defending himself. He's got his hands down, and you swing, you miss, and he connects, and it happens in the blink of an eye, and it happened literally. It just like you said, it was a point match. Kevin Holland did the best he could, but you know, once we got to those tough rounds, you know, MVP started doing he hit the shake on him, and he put the showmanship into the match that, of course, everyone goes, he's not going to do that in the UFC. Yes, he will.
Yeah.
Sure. And somehow, some way, you know, MVP pulled out a win on this one. But once again, kudos to Kevin Holland because, you know, when you get thrown to the wolves like that, you want to see who's a dog. Kevin Holland's a dog. Now he got his ass chewed, but he did put on.
He'll be back. I've always liked Kevin Holland. I liked Big Mouth. You know, and I don't even mind. I'm looking at the rankings here. You could do Michael Chiesa and Kevin Holland, you know, 14 and 15. You know, maybe there's a guy coming up in the welterweight ranks that you could do, you know, Kevin Holland. Or even Kevin Holland and Neil Magny. That sounds like a fun fight, you know.
Spider-Man versus Spider-Man, right? Like,
yeah. And I would put, like I said, I would do Michael Page and give him like somebody. I mean, Wonder Boy's at 9. I would be kind of okay with that. Or Jeff Neal, kind of give him, you know, crack him in that top 10. So I'm all good with that. And then we talked a little bit about Peter Yan. Thoughts on the Peter Yan Song Yadong fight?
Wow, that was one that it caught me off guard a little bit. I was expecting my guy Song Yadong to prevail, to use the striking that we've seen him use.
He was winning for about a round and a half.
Yeah, right. And he was pointing out, but Peter Yan applied the pressure, and I think, you know, somewhere in there, like you can see like the look on his face, like, man, he's hitting me pretty hard right now, dog. Like, and that's all it took. And shout out to Peter Yan for putting on
I told you Peter Yan was going to remind people who the fuck he was. I was nervous after the first round, but then he started getting it together. He's always been a notorious slow starter, makes those first round reads. And then once those hands, you know, always got the guard up. And then once he lets those hands go, Yan was pouring it on, you know, Song. And I'd like to, like I said, I would do Corey and Yan again or something like that for Song. You know, maybe you do. I don't know. Let me look at
Yeah, I would say for Song Yudong, it's more like let's see.
Him and Rob Font would be a good one.
Rob Font.
Maybe you do him and Umar. I mean, Umar's 10-7. You know what I mean? Or Song and Henry Cejudo. Why not?
Listen, and the thing is, Song Yudong, in my opinion, although having had lost his fight, is still a top 10 guy in the
world. He lost to a former bantamweight champion. There's no shame in that.
Yeah, it's not like he didn't lose to no trash. He definitely still has the ability to put on a show and be, maybe not co-main, but definitely on the main card.
So he showed he's a top 10 bantamweight. I mean, lost to, like I said, the former bantamweight champion of the world. There's no nothing wrong with that.
Right, definitely not. And then, hey man, and I know it wasn't on the main card, but real quick, shout out to freaking Curtis Blades, though.
Yeah, called it. I told you.
Yeah, I told you. Did. Job Almeida, big guy, putting people out, using jiu-jitsu. Not that day. Curtis Blades showed us that hey, he's still somebody to deal with. And then Tom Aspinall is gold. And I can see why. There's not many.
They got the history. I don't
want to see cereal gone again. You know what when I go in my kitchen and there's nothing on top of my refrigerator, that's when cereal gone. Okay, I don't want to see cereal gone again right now in a co-main or a main event. No, let Curtis Blades get his just due.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Let's get Blades and Aspinall for the interim heavyweight title. I'm cool with that too. Whit, I'm perfectly fine with that fight. Shout out to Gamrot beating RDA. RDA hurt him early in the first. Mm-hmm. Gamrot weathers the storm and gets the win. So he's going to become a player. Gamrot moves up to number 5 now. And maybe you got to start favoring him at some point in time. I don't know who would be next for him. Maybe he gets somebody like Dan Hooker, the winner of Dan Hooker, Jalen Turner. They fight, Dan Hooker. It's Jalen Turner and Moncano. Dan Hooker, I can't remember who he's about to fight, but maybe he gets Dan Hooker. That would be a great fight.
Dan Hooker. And then look, I want to get another guy. You know what I'm saying? We watched UFC for a long time. Rafael Dos Anjos, 32 wins, 16 losses. That's a lot of fights, people.
Yeah. Really, if Charles Oliveira loses to Arman Sarukian next month, I would do Charles and Gamrot, actually.
Charles and Gamrot would be a definite.
If Charles loses. Because he's already beat Arman in a real close fight a while back.
Right. And if he loses, you put him up against somebody that's right there in that main 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, you do Charles and Gamrot if Charles loses. I like that.
I'm with that too. And also shout out to Kyler Phillips who took my guy. I was thinking
Prelim Pedro
Munoz. Yeah. Kyler Phillips. I watched that one right there. But hey, look, bantamweight is one of those round robins, man. Hey, look.
That's lightweight. Gamrot and them's lightweight. Charles.
Gamrot's lightweight, but then bantam is where Kyler and
Pedro Munoz. Yeah.
But those two.
Kyler Phillips looked really good.
Yeah. No, he definitely looked way better than he did in the last one. So I'm expecting this to be one of those times where he gets his just due, and we'll be able to see him move up on the card a little bit more going forward. So shout out to him as well. So $299, man. What?
Let me ask you before we wrap up the $299 stuff and get to some other MMA stuff. You got fight of the night. Who was your fight of the night?
My fight of the night, man, is I gotta give it to DP, man. Dustin Poirier, Benoit Saint Denis. It was beautiful and like poetic, you know what I'm saying? Like, the old guy still got it, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking fight of the night wise, I'm gonna go to that. Now, the championship fight was interesting, but action wise, the edge of my seat, oh my God, is it? I was really with Dustin Poirier on that one. That for me, in my opinion. What you think fight of the night was, bro?
Well, I don't know, really, to be honest. The fight of the night, I think Song and Peter Yan was a lot like fight of the night. Both guys just had great opportunities. I would give DP maybe the knockout of the night, and then performance of the night is just Sean O'Malley. Everything that, the ass whooping from top to bottom, I would have gave the performance of the night to Sean. So that's kind of my $2.99. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Before we let's get in some other news here real quick. Friday night, I guess you could say, Francis Ngannou. I mean, Anthony Joshua said, "Hey, this is my shit." Okay. Francis went down like a bag of fucking beans, and got knocked out for the first time in his life.
I don't know. I don't did y'all feel that? Like the African continent shifted just a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. Africa.
It was a bad weekend. It was a bad weekend for the French. Francis and BSD.
This is okay. This is what I like to say about this, man. First of all, let's think. Okay, Anthony Joshua, heavyweight champion, gold medalist, whooping ass for years, goes up against MMA fighter. It doesn't. Let's just take the name off. Let's just say MMA fighter. We're gonna go with Anthony Joshua any time of the day. But I love the fact that throughout getting there and getting into the ring, you could tell Francis Ngannou was not scared. Okay,
no,
he wasn't scared.
And Anthony Joshua propped him up, gave him a lot of props, and was never disrespectful to him.
Yeah, definitely. And you could, if you were watching it, you could hear him say, "Hey man, don't leave. This ain't it." He was pointing to the to the oil barons. He was like, "Yo, they fuck with you. This is you about to have Ramadan."
Hey, Tyson Fury though, looking at him like shit. I hope I ain't got to fight Anthony Joshua, because what he just did to a guy I couldn't, barely.
Let me tell you something, man. As a boxing guy, Tyson Fury is counting them days, bro. He's counting them days because we know we right now with the
Father Time's undefeated with.
Yeah, Father Time's undefeated with the Usyk fight being pushed way back. Okay,
to May,
and to May, right? And we're gonna say, okay, if they fight in May, let's just pretend that Fury beats Usyk. Okay, so we're talking maybe the beginning of the year for a finally. They should have did this years ago in England, Wembley, because trust me, unless the Turkey Al Sheikh puts up a bunch of money, there's no reason why this fight is not held in Wembley Stadium in England. Okay, no reason. And that's gonna just cap off Tyson Fury's reign of terror, in my opinion. And if we get anything close to that type of Anthony Joshua, it's a wrap. I think. Yeah. So.
Anthony Joshua proved he might be the best. I mean, what he did to Francis just was.
It hurt my feelings, man. My stomach. My wife was watching it.
It was like, I mean, and the way he fell with the leg bent was exactly what what he did to Stipe, back in 2020. Mm-hmm. So it's 2021 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, just murdered him.
You know who laughed? You know who probably was like laughing like the evil villain. That he was
Dana White.
Dana White is one of them. Dana White is one. Dana White is one. Eddie Hearn, big white, the promoter, Eddie Hearn, because Eddie Hearn basically told everybody, I'm putting him in there just to get it over with. And third, but not least, last, John Jones probably was laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
But because when they saw each other in Riyadh for the PFL, and they were, stomach to stomach with each other. John Jones always says the same thing, man. Francis is a teddy bear. He's not a killer. He's not a killer like me. No, but this. Look, man. Bikins. I don't know, man. For about what 2.5 minutes. Would you take $16 million for 2.5 minutes?
Hell yeah, I would. Hey, Anthony Johnson, knock my ass out real quick.
Right, get me out the way, baby. Give me my money.
And speaking of money and money grabs, so let me tell you the story. I'm taking my wife to the doctor. She had a doctor's appointment, and we're in the car. I'm driving her. Is she on her phone? And she's like, Jake Paul's fighting Mike Tyson. I
You
said,
almost had a car accident.
I said, nah, yeah. I said, baby, that's fake. I said, that's fake news. She's like, Netflix posted it. It's gonna be on Netflix. I said, nah. I said it's something crazy. Because I didn't look at my phone. We get to the doctor's appointment. I pull up Twitter. I was like, shit, baby. I said, Jake Paul is fighting Mike Tyson. Nobody asked for this with. Not one person. Why? Why are they doing this?
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you the speculatory video that I watched. So there's special rules for this. Special rules where, in some way, shape, or form, just to make it funny, right? Jake Paul can and possibly will tag in his brother.
Nah, see that's fake. That's fake. That's fake.
I was like, I know he's not gonna do that. But no, in all seriousness, though.
From what Ariel Helwani reported, it's like they're just trying to. It's gonna be like the Roy Jones fight. It's either gonna be real professional or amateur, but no headgear, no nothing.
Yeah, no, it's the my whole point without the jokes is that I don't give a damn how old Mike Tyson is, okay? Mike Tyson is still scary, bro.
He is, but he's 60. This is elderly abuse. It's elderly abuse, Whit.
Mike, listen,
the minute Paul hits him, it's elderly abuse. They 30 years of difference. He's old enough to be his damn dad.
Did you see that video when Mike Tyson was in there crying?
That was years ago. And you know what people said after that video was posted too? Like he's walking in a damn cane and shit in a wheelchair. Hey, everybody, I get Mike Tyson is the baddest dude alive at one time. That was in the 80s. That was shit. That was 30 years ago.
30 years ago, man. But they say the strength is the last thing to leave. Yeah, the last thing to leave is strength in these boxes. We seen George Foreman come out of nowhere and win a belt. Like
not at 60. Mike Tyson about to be 60.
George Foreman, I want to say, had to be all of 47. You know,
and I don't understand it from Jake's. I don't understand from Jake's point. You're beating guys who are, boxers. Yeah, money. We all know money. I mean, nobody asked for this shit. With nobody.
I'll tell you this. This is the introduction that Jake Paul's not by no means is done. He's saying, hey, look, Netflix, okay, me and my guys at DAZN will put this together. And from now on, you in 2025, it takes a year or 2 years for these types of deals to get done. In 25, you guys should start hosting DAZN fights on Netflix. You guys should start having pay-per-view events on Netflix. It's already in 250,000 houses all across America. Why not have these events?
I don't know if they'll do that or just let everybody watch it for free. It'll be this is not pay-per-view. This is everybody.
This ain't pay-per-view.
You have Netflix, you can watch it.
Yeah, this is a pay-per-view. But I'm saying this will be a stepping stone for them to look
I would rather see Tyson fight Lennox Lewis again or some shit like that, or fucking Evander Holyfield. I don't need to see him and Jake Paul. Will I watch?
It's a number grab. They're gonna.
Will I watch? Yes. You know what I mean? I know I'm gonna watch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do I watch it? Do I need it? No. Do I want to watch it? No, not really.
Not really.
But am I going to? Yeah, it's fucking Mike Tyson. And I just pray that maybe he don't. I hope nothing. It can't be professional, right? It can't be professional. Like what boxing commission is going to commission a 60-year-old Mike Tyson?
Well, the idea is that somewhere in there they're going to let him do it. But
they can do it amateur wise, regardless. But
yeah, they can do it amateur wise, regardless. But what? Okay, where's the fight being held? Do we know that yet? Is it?
Yeah, it's AT&T Stadium in Jerry World.
It's in Jerry World. Okay, so the Texas Boxing Commission go ahead and slide that on in the door. Go ahead and let that happen. Just go ahead. It's Texas. They let everything slide in Texas. We got M16, we got AR-15s and Mike Tyson in Texas, baby. Come on, that's what we gonna say. Okay, go ahead and let that go. But for real, but seriously though, an exhibition between Mike Tyson is gonna draw eyes. And Jake Paul is going to use that platform to promote his energy drink, Prime. He's going to use that.
Well, that's Logan's got Prime. Jake don't got that. That's Logan.
What energy drink? Jake Paul got.
He don't got an energy drink. He got other shit.
He got something on that show. He promote. Anyway,
He might be promoting his brother's shit, but he's not prime. That's Logan.
He's gonna they're gonna use that shit to their advantage. And I'm telling you, it's all as far as to say at the end of the day, look at the numbers. Now imagine if we did this once a year, every quarter, period.
Well, yeah. It's a good, it'll be interesting to see what Netflix does because WWE's already going to go there. Monday Night Raw is going to Netflix. So it'll be interesting. And speaking of another fight that nobody asked for, it's this damn Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz. I love both guys, but if it's not in the octagon, I don't give a shit. I don't want to see either one of them box, unless it's bare knuckle. If it's bare knuckle, I might be more amped to tune in. But it's not. It's going to be gloves. I don't care. Stop. I want to see him back in the octagon. I want to see Nate fight in the octagon, not in the boxing ring.
Let's throw it out there again, man. Jorge Masvidal, smart man, took his money and created his own promotion. Now he's going to fight somebody that he probably could have fought 3 or 4 times in the octagon, and we're going to make $1 million, $5-6 million, and break bread off of that.
Who's buying that shit? Nobody's gonna buy to watch Jorge Masvidal in the boxing ring.
Yeah, somebody's gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
I ain't paying for it. I won't pay for it. I ain't paying for it.
Yeah, that's a slippery slope, man. But we saw Jorge look like Grimace from the McDonald's Friends, and I want to see how he looks after he trains for a few months, man. Shout out to Jorge, the king of Miami, man. He actually looked better at the fight last week.
Yeah, he still looks pretty thick, though. He got a thick face. Pretty thick.
Yeah, right. He said he's not he's not cutting nothing, okay? And then, of course, man, look, you got to give the king of Stockton some love.
I want to see Nate Diaz fight back in the octagon, not in a boxing ring. I don't care.
Nate Diaz is going to smoke a joint on the stage. They're going to argue. And it's going to be funny. It's going to be enticing.
I just don't care. I don't care for it. It is what it is.
Me neither, but I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
Real
quick, I meant to send it to you. I don't know if you saw. Did you see Kobe Covington cutting a good ass promo on Ian Gary?
No. I did not.
It's on Kobe's Twitter. So go on after the show. Go on Twitter. Kobe Covington cut a good promo, pretty much just talking mad shit to Ian Gary. Looks like that's a fight that's could happen relatively somewhat soon. He listed out 3 stipulations. Now we all know that's kind of bullshit, but Kobe will sell a fight. He can cut a promo. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. Ian's kind of asked for, and I'm okay with that fight.
Yeah, man. Ian Gary, Kobe Covington. That sounds like a good matchup. You know what I'm saying, between 2 guys who, if necessary, is going to go on the ground. I've been saying this for years. Look, if Kobe Covington just takes the money and takes the Kent Shamrock route and goes to the WWE, he will be perfect, a perfect heel in the WWE. I promise you. But hey, for now we gotta see what happens with him and Ian Gary, bro.
Yeah, most definitely. I think it's gonna be them 2. Wait, before we get out of here, what you got going on the rest of the week?
Boom. Okay, so the rest of the week I got LTS in the Hoop on Friday. Big shouts out to everybody who's been checking us out. Of course, right now the NBA, we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, so we got to preview the bottom half of the East and the Western Conference and who's going to end up in the play-in tournament. Secondly, we got to talk about these women in the NCAA, boy. These women, shout out to y'all know I'm from South Carolina. Shout out to the USC Gamecocks. Besides having a skirmish with LSU, big shouts out to Dawn Staley, Coach Dawn Staley, for an undefeated season and another SEC championship, another SEC banner. I can't wait till we see what goes on with the women in NCAA and the men's, because it's a Selection Sunday coming up. But I know we're getting ready to go. Two things I want to throw out there. Y'all know I'm doing the boxing, right? Bam, we got a date. May 4th. Jaime Munguia, Canelo Alvarez. It's actually happening. Oh, my God. Finally, we got Canelo's going to fight somebody. It's going to be of somebody of the proper ilk. It's not David Benavidez, unfortunately, but we do have a date for Canelo to fight. He said he's got 3 fights. This is one of the 3. Can't wait for it to happen. 2. Count them 2. We got to get ready for Crawford and Eubanks Jr. Right now, Crawford and Eubanks Jr. is going to be at 160. Everybody knows Crawford beat Errol Spence at 145. He said he's going up. So let's see exactly what happens when he moves up. I mean, he's got all the belts. He doesn't have to fight anybody else. So you might as well try and move up a little bit and fight around. He walks around probably at like 165, 170 is what he said. So hey, you know, if it's a little less work cutting weight, a little more time putting on that muscle. So shout out to both promotions. Let's see what happens with these 2 money-making fighters, because everybody knows the money is with Canelo, but everybody knows that the challenge is with Bud Crawford. So I'll definitely bring y'all some more about that as soon as I get that information. But those 2 fights have been made for real in the past week and a half.
Yeah, real quick, I meant to say this. Shout out to my guy Ray, Sweet Baby Hayes. He came on the podcast Sunday. Professional MMA fighter. He's 3-0. Just got another fight booked. He's going to be fighting here at the Lake of the Ozarks May 10th, I believe. So he'll be ready to. He's got his 4th professional fight. My guy Ray, Sweet Baby Hayes. So he's making his way up to the rankings. You know, as far as statewide and Midwest wide. So he'll be ready to go May 9th or 10th, I believe. So got his fight booked. Please check out our interview. It was a great interview with him on the Bodkin show this past Sunday. I'll be back with the boys on the Let's Talk Sports show tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. So be a friend, tell a friend, folks. It's been another great episode of Head Kicks and Haymakers. From my guy Witt, I'm Bodkins. We'll be back next Wednesday. Go over the fights. Plus, we'll reveal our new pound-for-pound list. The new pound-for-pound list. Can't wait for it. Me and Whit will give out our pound-for-pound list this next Wednesday night. So be a friend, tell a friend, folks. Like, subscribe, share. We'll see you then. Great night. Great fights.
Go for the guillotine.
Don't be silly. Always jump for the gilly.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.